right. It's been a day. It's been busy. It's been good. Just, kind of getting things done, getting summer kind of finished up and getting fall off and running. Yes. How about you?
I'm good. I had a day off yesterday. I relaxed all day.
Yeah.
And today I did some shopping and some cleaning up and whatnot.
Well, some of those things you just have to do on your day off, but
yeah.
But you also get to do this. I get to talk to you.
It's fabulous.
It really is. I'm liking this so far. So we've gotten some pretty good ones that we've done, but this week I think is going to be one of my favorites too, just because of the emotional part that goes with it. So do you want to tell everybody what we're doing, what we decided to do?
We're doing a comfort pasta dish.
Comfort pasta dish, but we don't know what dish either one is doing. So there are just so many different pastas that can be done. We have both handmade pasta, so there might be something on handmade pasta a little bit down the road, but for the first one, I think the comfort pasta, the one that I'm going to do, has a lot of meaning to me, and I'll kind of go through that as we're making it together. But so you're all set? You got all your stuff prepped?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Got something steaming over here.
Already? Wow, I feel like I'm behind. I'm behind already.
We are again, and as we discussed, we're making a comfort pasta dish, and for me it has to involve cheese. And so tonight I'm going to make some chicken and fettuccine Alfredo and some steamed broccoli. I steamed the broccoli ahead of time. It's done. I just put some plastic over it. It's going to sit in a bowl. You can have whatever vegetable you like. And I'm going to do chicken. I'm going to prepare the chicken first. And I have bought from the deli butcher boneless, skinless chicken breast. It's a big one. And what I like to do is I cut this in half lengthwise. And then I pound it out, and it makes the chicken cook faster, for one thing, and it also seems a little moister. If there's any fatty pieces on here, you can remove those. A little bit of fat's good because it's extra flavor. So I'm not going to do too much to this. I am going to slice it in half. I'm just going to put my hand on top here. Try to get it even. All right, that's good enough. So then you have two cutlets, I suppose you would call it. And then what I'm going to do is I have a plastic bag here. I'm going to put the chicken in a plastic bag, lay it flat. I'll move this chickeny cutting board out of the way. I'm going to lay it flat on surface, and you can close it or you can leave it open. It doesn't matter. I leave it open a little bit so that the air can come out. Hello. So I wash my hands. I use a meat pounder. You can use the bottom of a coffee cup. You could use a heavy rolling pin or whatever. Just and I'm going to use this flat end here. And I just want to pound it out so that actually the thicker parts are the size of these little thinner parts down here.
On this Dishin with Sissy, we are doing our favorite comfort pasta. Now, when we talked about a pasta dish, we thought about all the different pastas, and there are so many different pastas that we could do, and hopefully we will get to your favorite sometime down the road. But the very first one that I wanted to do was a comfort pasta dish. Especially now looking back, I know it's a comfort dish that I used to make, that my kids grew up with. When they were small, we didn't always have a lot of money, For those of you who make pasta, you know that pasta is a great food source that will fill a belly and is very economical. So I made this dish quite often when my kids were little. And now that they've all grown and they're all doing their own thing, inevitably they'll come home on military leave or for the holidays or just to visit. And one of the first things they ask me to make is this dish, baked spaghetti. So I'm gonna make it for you now on this edition of Dishin with Sissy.
Okay, I got the chicken all pounded out, and you get these two nice big pieces of chicken. So it's really a good way to stretch the budget a little bit. And like I said, it cooks faster. So I'm going to season this. I have some, I think I used this in the spatchcock chicken recipe, but it's a garlic herb seasoning. So I'm just going to coat both sides of this. I've got some oil in my cast iron skillet, and I think I put a teaspoon in here. I'm just going to do both sides. I'm not going to put the chicken in the fettuccine. It's going to be like a chicken with a side of fettuccine Alfredo, because we need to eat a little bit healthier, whatnot. So I think the lean meat is better for us than the cheesy pasta, although I love the cheesy pasta. The chicken is sizzling away. I'm doing about, I think it's going to be like 2 or 3 minutes per side. You don't want to overcook it and make it dry. And what I'm going to do after I get done pan frying it, I'm going to put it in the toaster oven on warm while we make the sauce and the pasta. So, and it will continue to cook also when you take it off of the pan. A lot of people don't realize that. That's why you let meat rest after you grill it or cook it. Let the cooking process it continues after you take it off of the pan. Now that my stovetop is a greasy chicken mess, this is the finished chicken. It looks really good. It's browned on both sides, and the juices are clear, except for the flavor in there. I'm going to put some foil on this and put it in the toaster oven to keep warm. Okay, so some of you might know this, but we bought this house. It's been 2 years this month, end of September. So it's 2 years since we moved in. And in the pantry when we moved in was this enormous box, old box of aluminum foil. And it's still pretty full, and I'm still using it after 2 years. And it's amazing to me. It's pretty funny. Just a little story I thought I'd share, because I think it's funny. Every time I take this out and use it, I'm like, I'm still using this foil after 2 years.
As you might hear in the background, I have some stuff going on back here, some stuff going on here. I have my oven preheating to 375. I have a pound of pasta on. Now, a pound of pasta goes a long way, but I'll explain why in just a little bit. I also have 1 pound of ground chuck in one pan, and 1 pound of mild Italian sausage browning in another pan. And those are what I'm going to use to layer this baked spaghetti dish. I do have to grate some cheese, so I'm going to toss yes, you can buy the already grated stuff, which I used to do all the time. You know, when you're coming home from dinner, from working, and you got the kids and you got football practice or whatever you're doing, it's often difficult to do this type of thing. It's easier to buy the already grated cheese. It's easier to buy pasta sauce that's already done and not having to make your own. But now that I have a little bit of extra time, I do like to do the extras. And fresh cheese is definitely a difference when you're making pasta. So we've got some fresh grated Parmesan right there for you. And in this one, I'm going to do some mozzarella. We'll see how this one works. I've never done mozzarella in this before, but we'll see how this works. Oh, look at that. Okay, not too bad. It's getting there. So I'm going to continue to grate this up. I'm going to get everything going, finish prepping, and I'll be back here to put the pasta dish together and fill you in on why I'm making such a big batch for just me and my husband.
So I'm going to put half a cup of butter in this pan. I've got it on sort of a medium high-ish heat. And I'm going to do a half a cup of butter. I use salted butter. Some people use unsalted butter. Just going to cut it in half. That's half a cup of butter. That's a lot of butter, but it's delicious. Just let it get melted. Turn the heat down a little bit. You don't want to burn the butter. If it starts burning. Actually, browned butter is good. Burnt butter is not good. So I'm going to remove it from the heat just a little bit while the butter finishes melting. All right, set it back down. I'm going to put in, this is super easy. This is the Alfredo sauce, and it's easy. It's so delicious. I got a teaspoon of garlic powder. I chose to use garlic powder over real garlic just because it's a milder kind of flavor, and I like the powder. I'm going to put that in there and stir it up. The butter's nice and melted. All right. I got a cup and a half of heavy cream, like whipping cream. And I'm just going to pour this in here. I'm going to stir this up. I'm going to just stir this a little bit until it gets warmed through all the way. Super easy. Now I'm going to put in a little bit of dried parsley. I have some fresh parsley here, but in the sauce I'm just going to put a sprinkle of dried parsley in there. Kind of for color, but a little bit for taste. I like the way it looks in there. Just a little, couple pinches of dried parsley. Gonna put in some salt and pepper. I got some coarse sea salt. I like to use sea salt. And some fresh cracked black pepper. All right, just gonna stir this up. Let's not let it boil. Just till it gets to simmery. Just keep stirring it around. You don't want to burn the cream. All right, at this point, since I have an electric stove, I'm going to turn the heat off. You don't want to put the cheese in while the heat is still on the pan. That's why you want to make sure it's nice and hot before you decide it's time to add the cheese. Just stir it around. It smells really good. Even without the cheese in it, it smells delicious. I got water going back here. I'm not making homemade pasta this time. I bought a refrigerated fresh fettuccine, and I'm going to use that. I think there'll be another episode where we make fresh homemade pasta. That's really delicious. But this is a comfort food, and comfort for me is not having to do too much work. as well as it tasting fabulous and making me feel at home and comfortable. So, all right. I'm going to let this sit here just until I think that the element is not putting off a lot of heat anymore. Keep stirring it a little bit. The sauce, the element has cooled a little bit, but the sauce is still hot. I've got 2 cups of shredded fresh Parmesan cheese. Get the triangle and shred it yourself. It's way better.
How quick was that? So I have a pound of ground chuck, browned and ready to go. I have a pound of mild Italian sausage, also browned and ready to go. I have a pound of pasta. You can use whatever pasta you want, but it's baked spaghetti for a reason, so I use spaghetti. I have sauce. Now, truth be told, this is jar sauce. I have one that I prefer to use. I do make my own sauce. We'll do that a little bit further down the road. And again, this is comfort. It's quick, it's easy when the kids get home. To make for the family, you can also make it in advance and put it in the freezer. We also have some grated mozzarella, some fresh grated parm, a little left over to put on top, and I do have my seasonings here. The seasonings that I use, I have some pink Himalayan sea salt, my Sherry's Combo black ground pepper and white ground pepper. I have some garlic powder, some onion powder, and I have some olive oil. This has some garlic, some basil, and some pepper in it. And I like to just kind of, as I'm layering it, just drizzle this a little. And I like to start with a little of this on the bottom of the pan. So everything is cooked, everything is ready to go. The oven is preheating and is also ready to go. Preheat to 375. And we're just going to layer this like you would a lasagna. So we're going to start with a little bit of, borrow this spoon for a second, a little bit of the olive oil mixture and the garlic right on the bottom. And there's some big chunks of basil in there. We're going to make sure that those get at the bottom of this pan as well. So we're going to start there. I'm going to put down, of course you want to wash your hands. I wash my hands. I'm going to put down my pasta. And again, you're just going to kind of layer this like you would a lasagna. Doesn't make a difference in what way you do this, really. It's all going to taste the same. It's all going to meld when you cook it, and it's going to be fabulous. So we have a little bit of pasta in here, just enough to cover the bottom. I'm going to put a little handful of the Italian mild sausage, a little bit of the ground beef. I'm going to put a little of the parm, some mozzarella, a little bit of our garlic powder, a little bit of our onion powder. So again, we are layering this. So if you're going to use a tablespoon of garlic powder or onion powder, you're going to want to layer it in. So you're not using like a tablespoon on each layer, it's a tablespoon altogether. Just so you know, she's putting a lot of spices in that. It's okay. Black ground pepper and white ground pepper. Again, we're just gonna pinch that. Got a little bit of salt. We're gonna lay down some sauce. Now here's the thing. Here's the divide in this household. I don't really care for tomato sauce, like a tomato-based sauce, pasta sauce and things like that. I don't like hot tomatoes, but I'll eat a raw tomato and I like ketchup. So don't try to figure that out, just follow me. So my husband, on the other hand, loves extra red sauce. So I oftentimes, when I make a dish like this for him, I will have some extra sauce on the side for him to put on his, but this is just enough for me. We're going to continue doing what I just did until we have the top layer done. And at that point, we're going to use some of this good mozzarella here to lay on top of it. So I'm going to finish putting this all together, and you guys can go check out and see what Sissy's doing.
Okay. Stuff happens. My fettuccine pot was boiling over. Making more of a mess. All right. So I've got 2 cups of shredded Parmesan cheese here. I'm just going to put this in there and just stir this in. It can melt. I am going to just keep stirring. The cheese will dissolve. It'll make beautiful sauce. I'm going to keep stirring this. I'm going to take the pasta off because it's done. Keep stirring the sauce.
I'm almost done layering this. I've layered, alternated, and now I'm at the top, and I'm just taking some fresh mozzarella, tossing it on the top of this. Now you could also be a little bit extra, put some fresh basil on it when it's done, but this is kind of the dish that I'm doing that my kids grew up with. So I'm trying to keep it old school, original recipe. And let's be honest, my kids have been gone. The last one left about 4 years ago, and I still have not learned to cook for only 2. So I usually do extra anyway, but this is a great dish that I can divide into individual servings, toss in a freezer bag, Ziploc, and put it in the freezer, and then take it out whenever I want some baked spaghetti, or for this particular one, when my son comes to house sit here in about a month, he'll have his own little portions of baked spaghetti in the freezer. I've all finished with this. I'm gonna just toss on a little bit more of the seasoning on top, and I'm going to get it in the preheated 375 oven. Everything is already cooked in this, so it doesn't take that much. You just want it to kind of warm up, heat up, get all that cheese nice and melted, and then you can take it out. So we're gonna put it in 375 for about 25 minutes. We'll check on it and see how it is. In the meantime, we're gonna cut up this beautiful loaf of bread over here. We're going to make some garlic butter and use some of this leftover grated parm and put it on top and have a little Texas toast along with our baked spaghetti.
So typical of my professional cooking skills, my Alfredo is not cooperating. I added half a cup more of the heavy cream, and I did turn the fire back on for a little bit because it doesn't seem like it's melting. I have my little whiskey fork here. I'm just going to keep whisking at it, and I've got the heat on just medium low, and I'm going to keep stirring this. It's coming along better. It's getting better, but there's still some cheese that doesn't want to melt. This is what happens when I cook. Sometimes it doesn't go right, and you just got to mess around with it and fix it. So I'm sure it's going to be fabulous. I'm going to keep working with it. The pasta's done. Fettuccine. Delicious. I'm going to get this sauce finished up. I'm going to keep whisking until the cheese gets melted. And then I'm going to probably be ready to plate it. I don't know what my sissy's up to right now, but we'll see in a few minutes.
My boys might say that it's not a pasta dish without some nice crusty garlic bread. Some like it with cheese, some without. So I wanted to show you how I kind of put this together. I'm sure it's the same recipe most people use. It's very easy. So I got this nice, it's very dense, very soft, crusty on the outside. Will work very nicely with a garlic toast. I've got about 1/4 cup of butter. I'm going to take some of the leftover garlic powder that I have here, and I'm just gonna toss in a little pinch. Gonna stir it up very well. I'm gonna slather this on both pieces very generously. And then after the pasta's cooked, while it's sitting out and setting for about a good 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to pick the oven up to broil and just get this so it's nice and broiled. The cheese will be nice and broiled on the top, but we'll still have a little bit of a soft inside and a little bit of a crunch on the outside. So we've got our garlic butter, we've got some nice parm. Might as well use the rest.
With the heat turned back up to medium low and a little bit of whisking. This is what happens. See, I don't usually use recipes. So I tried to measure things out so that I could give you measurements for this. But as it turns out, I needed to add the other half a cup of the heavy cream. So that was 2 cups of heavy cream, 2 cups of shredded, grated Parmesan cheese. And with the fire on a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and add the fettuccine into the pasta. It's hot. I'm just going to dump this in there. And I'm going to whisk it around, separate it all up a little bit. It's going to be delicious. I did, in fact, turn the burner off for now. I'm going to mix all this fettuccine into this delicious sauce and let it sit for a couple minutes. I'm going to slice up the chicken. I've got the broccoli, and I'm going to text my sissy and see what she's doing, and we'll come back with our plated dish.
Well, time for the fun big reveal, guys. I used my same special plate.
Look at that.
Tell me what you're holding. That looks, is that Alfredo?
Yeah.
Oh, your Alfredo is so flippin' good.
Fettuccine Alfredo, and I guess I'll come back here since my phone isn't cooperating. Chicken and broccoli.
What else is in there?
I did not make the pasta. I bought the refrigerated fresh fettuccine.
Mm-hmm.
I did make the sauce.
I know you did.
I did chop some broccoli. And I'm not gonna lie, I made a little couple of flubs, but all in all, this is some tasty stuff right here.
That I could get comfortable with a big dish of that and a nice little glass of wine. I know
what a big glass of wine.
Big glass of wine. I know what your Alfredo tastes like, and like when we're together or the family's together, and anybody wants Alfredo, which is usually a couple of my boys, it's always Aunt Dee Dee, will you make Alfredo? I'm like, what? I'll just stand back here and hand her ingredients. You know, I'll be your sous chef.
Let me see yours.
So before I actually tell you what it is, I was going to see if you could guess. So remember when the kids were little and we all lived together and we made?
I can see it. Baked spaghetti.
Spaghetti. So it's kind of like, you know, it's a little bit quicker than lasagna, but you can portion it out and it goes so much further. I've got like 4 portions on this plate, which is my beautiful home plate, which I felt was very appropriate for this comfort dish that just kind of takes me back to my little kids. When it was done, I tossed a little bit more fresh parm over top of it and some fresh parsley, just to kind of get that little, like that. I did some garlic bread. Do you know how difficult it is to find Italian bread in Texas? Like I couldn't find it anywhere, but this was a nice, crusty, dense bread. So it was crusty on the outside, soft on the inside, made a fantastic garlic bread. So I just put some garlic powder and some butter, slapped it on there, covered it in Parmesan. I've got Bill's side dish of extra sauce over here because, you know, I'm not a big person. So and this one is for you. That one's for you.
No. You know what I was thinking? It's gonna be fun is someday when we can do one of these actually together. I thought about that this morning. That's gonna be cool. I miss cooking with you, Sissy.
I miss cooking with you, Sissy, but we are so much alike. And just makes my heart smile. It's like we're miles and miles and miles apart again after being together and having so much fun for a few years.
Yeah.
But this just, you know, it takes me back, and the fact that we do so many things similar. I knew that you'd make Alfredo. I knew you were going to make that, and I'm like, I'm not there to taste it. She's making her Alfredo.
I was considering something random, but I thought this is comfort food, and I need to like eat some of this.
Well, I won't keep any longer. Go ahead, dig in, manja, and I did open a bottle of wine. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you with my usual beverage.
And to Dishin with Sissy.
Dishin with Sissy.